what does it mean this morning to be transformed? What does it mean this morning to mature in our faith in Jesus? Because how many people know that it's possible to come to church and to do all the things and still remain a baby Christian? If your heart isn't right, then nothing is right. Which is why we say that transformation happens from the inside out. And so I want to put a caveat out this morning. Don't hear me wrong. I am not talking this morning about behavior modification. What I'm talking about this morning is genuine spiritual transformation. James is trying to move us to a place of owning our own emotions and owning our own faith. And you got to know this morning that ownership is the first step towards transformation. For you cannot change what you do not own, right? We need to take ownership over our own feelings, our own emotions, and our own faith. And so let's today ask this question: how do we move from being just a one-day-old Christian 100 times over to being actually a 10-day-old Christian, a 1-year-old Christian, a 2-year-old Christian, and actually mature and grow in our faith in Jesus? How do we take ownership over our journey? How will we grow? This is the Holy Spirit's work that does the work of transformation. It's the Holy Spirit that empowers us. It's the Holy Spirit who comforts us. It's the Holy Spirit who gives us wisdom and insight. It's the Holy Spirit who does the work of transforming us from the inside out. I'm here to tell you this morning that He's given you more grace, that His grace is sufficient, that He's not running on an empty tank, that it's full and it's always full. His grace is enough. He gives us more grace. Having pointed to God's sufficiency and His abundance, James points to the ownership that we need now to take over our journey with Jesus. I wonder what God thinks when we do stuff like this. And I know this is a silly example and Jared was really joking, but how often do we go, God, do this for me, God, do this for me, and He's just looking down from heaven. Oh, there goes a petrol station. Oh, there goes another petrol station. Oh, there's another one, and now you're on empty. God provided us with wisdom and freedom and responsibility to walk out in obedience His design and truth over our lives. And so often we overlook what God has put in our path and the wisdom and responsibility that He has given us. We need to, at times, pull over, fill up, and keep driving. Pull over, fill up, and keep driving. Oh God, I'm burnt out. God, I got no more energy to give. Well, why don't we pull over, slow down, fill up on God's presence, and then keep driving with renewed energy. God, I'm bitter. How could I ever forgive them? Pull over, acknowledge the hurt, fill up by choosing forgiveness, and then keep driving in freedom. Come on, somebody. I don't know, God. I'm not sure. I've got doubts. Pull over. Ask God some questions, because you got to know this morning that He's not scared of your questions or even your doubt. Fill up. Wrestle with the questions, then fill up with God's truth, then keep driving with a stronger faith. Pride. Unhealthy relationships, pull over, reflect, fill up by setting some good boundaries, and then keep driving in wisdom. Fear of the future, pull over, surrender control. I don't want to walk out this door the same as we walked in. I don't want to come and gather next year and go, here we are again. No, I want to grow in such a way. I want to mature in such a way. I want our roots to go deep enough that the fruit spreads so wide that our city cannot deny the work of God in our hearts, in this church, in our lives, that we would reach this city. Come on, there are people who are lost. There are people who are broken. There are people who are hopeless, who need the hope of Jesus, the truth of Jesus and His grace, but He gives us more grace. What would it look like? Homework on study season. What would it look like to come near to God this week? What would it look like for you to put resistance between you and the enemy? What would it look like to take ownership of your feelings and your faith? What would it look like to pull over, to fill up this week, and then keep driving?